Hello there.
And we are late to the party, and Ahsoka Tano's carving her own path with the Martez sisters.
Yes, we saw her meet the Martez sisters in the last episode, and they got themselves into a bit of some trouble. But of course, in Ahsoka fashion, she knows her way out, and now she's with them still.
Living her new life in the underbellies of Coruscant on 1313. But we'll see where the adventure will take Ahsoka and the Martez sisters. I have a feeling they're going to stick around for a while.
Yeah.
But you guys, you can watch our full episode watch-alongs available on our Patreon. Just queue up the episode with us, and you can watch it with us there. So let's get into episode 6, Deal, No Deal. Now. Starring Britney Spears.
Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka realizes not everyone sees the Jedi as heroes. A lesson she only recently learned herself.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
That must have been some academy you went to topside.
Yeah,
What was it called?
Skywalker Academy.
There you go.
Skywalker. Never heard of it. Never really heard of any academy.
Skywalker.
Rafa and I inherited this hangar after our parents split.
Dead.
The shop Rafa owns, whatever I could to make some credits, and assembled it piece by piece.
There you go.
All that plus, and now I've got myself a starship.
Impressive.
Most impressive.
No, impressive is coming up.
The Silver Angel?
Yeah,
Why don't you name my bike while you're at it?
I did. Trash. Its name is Trash.
Very funny.
Ahsoka's gonna be staying on for a bit.
You gotta
They're going on adventures together.
Only useful ones.
I don't know what's worse, that you were gonna do this, or that you hired a pilot other than me to do it with.
Now
You
I
forgot
need
to put on restraining
Only
bolts.
as a backup.
Yeah.
We can't count on anyone.
So we count on ourselves. And maybe Ahsoka. I want to
You
get
can
going.
trust her.
We'll warm the engines up.
Once they find out she's got them Force powers, they're really going to trust her.
Or not
suddenly
trust
you
her.
and my sister are inseparable.
They'll use it
What
to
are
their
you at?
advantage.
Excuse me? You ever thought you might be the trouble she needs to stay away from?
Ahsoka can get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Might be more dangerous for the Martez sisters. We got a new ship.
Yeah.
Roar! Just dives.
Watch out for all the other ships there.
They've probably got like a collision sensor of some kind.
Merging into traffic.
Trace, where are you going? You can't go there. That's a restricted area.
It's like Star Tours.
Yeah.
It's restricted.
We're being hailed. Don't answer that.
We have to answer that.
No, we don't.
We already look suspicious.
Just say you're sorry.
Higher! Pull up. Pull up. Stop telling you what to do.
Oh no.
Just get in the
Boring
transport
conversation
van and
anyways.
fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows.
I was on board that transport. I was just about to send a detachment to arrest them.
Don't do it. Oh. Yeah, he
It's so
feels
Return
it.
of the Jedi right there.
She feels it.
Leave them to me. I was just about to clear them. Should I hold?
It's nothing.
Because he knows.
It was very similar to the Imperial shuttle scene in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Really? How'd you manage that?
Trace's flying is more of a dream than a reality.
What did you say?
I said the ship flies like a dream. Yeah, a bad.
Kind of reminds me of, it was better when Mufasa was here. What did you say? I said Kapasa. My mom cracks up every time that happens. Like, not one of your chuckles, but like, laugh out
A
loud.
hearty laugh.
Yeah. Oh, snap.
Kessel.
Yes,
hell
Kessel's
yeah.
on.
I'm taking us to fortune and glory. It's legendary for its corruption. Rafa,
Gonna run into the
what
Pykes.
are we doing here? Picking up medicine?
Medicine.
Yeah.
A little spice.
See, Ahsoka? There's nothing to worry about.
You might need Ahsoka soon enough.
Yep. You're basically at a manor for a cartel.
Yeah. More like a palace.
Yep. Big money and spice running.
Yep. It reminds me of Bedazzled with Brendan Fraser when he's like the cocaine
So
king.
it's cocaine.
When is the king showing? We won't disappoint.
I've got one of the fastest ships around.
May as well get that contract ready.
Because we've got the fastest ship around.
They know, Trace.
Fired.
Yeah.
The Yoruba family of Kessel has always been a promoter of health and happiness across the stars.
I sense an underlining
Now
tone in
comes
his voice.
Martez.
I understand her excitement, but it's a bit much.
Yeah.
But we're leaving Kessel. It's not hard to figure out what we might be here for.
Yeah.
You know a lot about Kessel for a mechanic.
How many times has Rafa done a job like this?
She's in over her
I don't think
head.
She ever has. There's a first time for everything.
That is very true.
No history of anything until it happens.
Okay.
Spice mining has made the people of Kessel wealthy.
Not for poor little droids.
But don't worry, a revolution is
King's
coming.
spice sells less by thousands of...
Must be local workers.
I think the term is slaves.
Can't be. The Republic wouldn't stand for it. They'd shut the place down.
You'd think they would.
But there's money.
There is money to be made for sure.
Yep. And money talks.
And Ahsoka walks.
Now let's get this spice where it belongs.
Up your nose.
And you're about to find out the hard way.
Next stop, Obadiah, right?
Oh, they're going to Obadiah.
Marg Krim? The Pike crime boss?
Why am I not surprised you know about the Pykes?
Yeah.
Of course she
As a matter of
does.
fact,
Like the fact that the Pikes are gangsters.
Gangsters? What, like Pin 2 back on Coruscant?
No,
Worse.
much worse. They'll take your ship, your life, everything.
Well, Ahsoka, you kind of startled her by saying that they could take her ship. I mean, if everything
and
goes
Trace and I have a
well,
lot of people
they
on
won't take
Coruscant
this
waiting
shit.
for money we owe them.
Think of all the good.
Wow,
Don't
no.
do it. Don't do
Deliver the spice
it.
To someplace else.
No one is taking
I mean, the Pikes are in business too, so they would have let them. Oh,
Oh, crap.
Oh no, what did you do?
Oh,
I dumped the spice.
You did what?
yeah.
Problem solved. You're welcome.
Nope.
That is literally
I'm not a
the
huge fan of
worst
Trace.
I
Yeah.
can't believe this, but I agree with her.
one. Now we have a deal to deliver spice to an intergalactic crime syndicate and no spice to deliver.
Dumbass.
But I'll tell you what, I can think of one way to pay off the Pikes, and I'm
Give her the ship.
standing in it.
Those space whales are going to be high for like a century.
Oh, what do you
Probably.
do now?
Why keep going? Just run
Well, then
away.
they're gonna just be running their whole lives.
Oh,
Face it head
Let's
on.
go over it again.
You're gonna find out that she wields the Force.
magic user, baby. There's those Pikes.
Yep.
I don't trust anyone who isn't a Pike.
I love how they have the remnants of spice on their mouths.
And send us on our way.
Here are your credits. Now go on your way.
No, something's gonna
Well, the
happen.
rest of them.
Take it back. I'm liking this plan.
I'm going to make sure everything sorts out to our liking.
So much for locks.
Yeah. This is so intense. I hope it'll last.
Patrol ships.
You can try.
What was that?
That is a tractor beam.
Yeah, you ain't going nowhere.
Between the three of us, there's plenty of blame to go around.
Yeah. All three of you have different things that you can plan.
You can end it there.
Of course.
Like it. We're in trouble. So, once again, Ahsoka is in trouble, but this time, not so much her fault. Trace. Trace is to blame so far for all the trouble for the past couple episodes.
Sort of, but I feel like I would give some of the blame to Ahsoka because Ahsoka is the one where they're like, they can take your ship, they can do this, and then Trace took it and like blew it out of proportion. If you know, Ahsoka never did that, she'd be like, okay, well, this is our plan to get this done, and then we'll be on our way.
Right.
If she never like freaked out, then Trace would probably have never freaked out.
Of course.
So, and then they all have it to blame because, Rafa was the one who took the job. And it's like, yeah, these are crime bosses. These ain't no low-level 1313 bosses. These are big time bosses.
And I feel like they would have gotten away with it. They would have been fine had they given them the spice, because the Pike Syndicate is into making money as well. They're into getting, spice and into paying. Like, what were they going to do? Like, kill these girls, steal their ship, and keep the money and the spice? That doesn't look good for Kessel and what they've got going on. So they need runners, they need smugglers, they need people to push the product. So they're not going to go over the top and just kill these girls for the hell of it. But at the same time, yes, Ahsoka was sensationalist when it came to getting that information to a very naive, young-minded Trace, because Trace, she's older, but yeah, she's very naive when it comes to the ways of life, and that's partly from living down in the underbellies of Coruscant. So I get it. Like, there's parts of me where it's like, I understand that she's not a child, but she acts like a child because she hasn't really developed or grown. She still acts, immature when it comes to these kinds of situations. So it's hard for me because I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, even Ahsoka rolled her eyes at one point with some of the stuff she was saying, and how she was just kept interrupting the number 2, the visor to the king. And it's annoying, but at the same time, I understand why she is that way.
Right. I mean, she's never been in a situation like this before. I feel like Rafa kind of keeps her, secluded doing her own thing. So she's never really had that opportunity to kind of
grow.
Yeah, grow from that. And this is she's gonna grow up real fast from this.
And that's what the cool thing. Once again, the subtitles in the very beginning talking about, you learn from your mistakes. She's got a lot of mistakes yet to make to learn from them and grow. So we're gonna see that. So I think I will enjoy her in the long run, but right now she just kind of reminds me of, a kid getting into trouble. Just stand there, don't touch anything. You told me not to touch anything. I did what you said. Short Round accidentally got them into trouble in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, but all in all, he was kind of a kid when it came down to certain situations. But yeah, it just, for me, it's kind of silly when they fall backwards into conflict because one of them is so stupid like a child. But again, how else are we going to end up in the conflict? It's cool that we get to see the Pike Syndicate. It's cool that we got to go back to Kessel, seeing the Kessel. We haven't seen it since Solo, essentially.
Since Solo.
But yeah, and then with Ahsoka too. Seeing that connection, that moment passing the ship when it came to Yularen and Anakin, like, that was such a good moment. Like, so close. Ships in the night, basically. Coming so close, and he's got that connection. He knows it's her. He knew it was her.
Oh yeah, he can sense it, and she can sense it as well. But he understands, and he had to let her go. Yeah,
and it's a cool moment because Darth Vader ends up having moments like that later on with Luke Skywalker. That connection, that deep connection, and it definitely, he ponders and sits and just stares
about to clear
off.
Them.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so remnant of that scene from Return of the Jedi when Piet's telling him, it's an older code, sir, but it checks out. I was about to clear them. Should I hold? No, leave them to me. It's cool to see that emotion without the mask, or at least that moment without the mask of Vader. It was almost identical in every way.
If you go on
see him ponder and look off. And,
I shouldn't have come.
Yeah, I've endangered the mission. I shouldn't have come. So yeah, getting that little moment between Ahsoka and Anakin. They don't even have to see each other, but you still got a very heartfelt moment between the two. That connection that you feel with the Force. Speaking of Ahsoka, news dropped right after we did the episode reaction last week about Rosario Dawson. Unofficially, because until they come out, until we see it, until it's announced, I'm going to say it's unofficial that Rosario Dawson is playing Ahsoka.
Yeah, but didn't everyone,
action.
IGN and all of them say that
everybody except for the people that are doing it. So until they say, until Rosario Dawson, and it's funny because you ended up getting Ashley Eckstein coming out and talking about it, but if you actually look at her words, she never says anything but, I would have loved to play the part, and I know nothing about it, I'm not a part of it. Like, that's all she said, is I'm not a part of it in any way. I have no clue what's going on. I wasn't consulted. No one's talking to me. I'm not in this. Like, nobody is coming to me.
It's not her. And then she also, she said, hey, it's not my decision to make.
Correct,
Ahsoka, even though Ahsoka is her, but, it's hers, but it's also, Filoni's and them because they created the character. She's just the one who does the voice for Ahsoka.
And the thing is like people, you guys were asking what our thoughts were on when it came to that. We did some social networking responses as to how we felt. But all in all, when it comes down to it, I love Ashley Eckstein. I think if they did a live action Ahsoka Tano in this era right now, absolutely 100% it should be Ashley Eckstein. But because we're going in for the more aged and experienced Ahsoka Tano, she's much taller, she has a longer face. I feel like Rosario Dawson is perfect just in the build that Rosario Dawson can bring to the build that is Ahsoka Tano much later in life, especially because we're going post Return of the Jedi, we're going Mandalorian era, so I feel like we're going to get a very wise Ahsoka Tano.
Right, and we can kind of already see that, you know, at the end of Rebels, like
Right.
that Ahsoka Tano, because that
Right.
was also after, you know, what happened with Return of the Jedi.
Absolutely.
And they were on their way to find Ezra with Sabine, which makes me think like, oh, are we going to get a live action Sabine coming in? I mean, she is a Mandalorian, so...
Absolutely, and they've got the dark saber, so how did the dark saber end up in the hands of
That's
the remnants
true.
of the Imperials? So not sure, looking forward to it. And you know, Ashley Eckstein, I feel like they are going to do more with Ahsoka, not just in the Mandalorian, unless that's where they end her story, which I feel like that's probably what's going to
I
end up
feel like
happening.
it would be perfect, you know.
Yeah, it would be.
You kind of
It
end
would
her
be.
story there. I mean, we saw her at the beginning of her, you know, coming into her own with Clone Wars, and then we saw her, you know, in her after Clone Wars and Rebels, and then we kind of see after Rebels.
And the way I see it is Star Wars has always been about passing the torch when it comes to playing certain characters. You ended up getting, you know, Jake Lloyd when it came to playing young Anakin Skywalker. You had Hayden Christensen playing Anakin Skywalker. Of course, you get James Earl Jones. There have been so many people that have played that character in so many different ways. So it's fine for that torch to be passed from one to another. You've got Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You've got Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So it is time. We've got Ashley Eckstein's Ahsoka, and now we're moving into Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka if it ends up happening, which is okay in the world of Star Wars. We welcome that. But either way, looking forward to seeing what they have in store for us with Mandalorian Season 2, but we are still pushing forward with the Clone Wars. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching our reaction. You can like and subscribe.
And do the thing on our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Stardust.
All the social networking gin joints, you know where they are. Kick into the party, fuel the party, keep the party going on our Patreon. Gets you these full episode watch-alongs to this, The Mandalorian, all of the show reactions that we do available on the Patreon. Thank you so much, and as always,
now it's time to say goodbye.
this party is over.
Bye.
Bye.